Delicia Fernando, her husband Anton and their 3 children were attending Easter Sunday Mass at St. Anthony's Church when a suicide bomber struck.
There
was a loud noise and fire started raining down from the roof. I told my girls to head out. My son was thrown by the impact. He's the one who found my husband dead.
A total of 7 suicide bombers struck 3 churches and 3 hotels, all within an hour. 270 people were killed and more than 500 injured. The government blamed an obscure local group, the National Tawhid Jamaat. But many people don't accept that explanation. Opposition MP HARIN Fernando is one of them.
Biggest question for me is who benefited out of this, and why can't the government, when we raise questions, answer?
Fernando says vital information uncovered by both the Parliamentary Committee and Presidential Commission has not been investigated. The Catholic Church has been scathing about the investigation. Cardinal Malcolm Ranjit, the Archbishop of Colombo, has frequently criticized the slow pace of the investigation and implied that people now in government may have been involved in the attacks. Government representatives and the police deny those allegations. They point out that hundreds of suspects have been detained and indictments issued in a dozen cases. Lawyers for some of them have told Al Jazeera that their clients had no involvement with the bombing. Meanwhile, Delicia and dozens like her face a long wait for justice.
I've told God only you can show me the way to secure justice, because people keep exchanging allegations about who did it while the years go by. We can't live with peace of mind.
They can only hope their prayers are answered.
Minelle Fernandez joins us live from Sri Lanka's capital, Colombo. Minelle, what happened in court today?
Basically, with the 25 men appearing before this special court, in fact, the proceedings have come to an end for the day, and you might just catch a glimpse of some of the suspects over my shoulder. You can just see their backs. They have finished their case. They're just waiting for transport to be taken to the different remand prisons that they've been brought from. Now, we had some of the lawyers making appeals to court. Some of them said that they wanted to make bail applications because obviously this is going to be a long trial, 23,000 charges. They said they wanted to submit applications for bail. However, they were told by judges that bail applications by a number of those who wish to make them would be taken up at the next hearing, which has been fixed for the 3rd of March. But there were other things, like there was one lawyer who brought to the notice of the court that 4 men claiming to be local police from his client's area had gone into his client's house, spoken to his mother, who was alone at the house at the time, demanded to know who the counsel or lawyer that was representing her son was and how much he was being paid. He said this was out of order and shouldn't have been done. There are other requests that had been made of the court for some of the prisoners to be given Qurans. Some of them had the Qurans to read while in remand prison, but when they had been transferred around, this hadn't been taken. As well as the final thing, the translations of those indictments still not ready in the Tamil language, which a majority of these suspects speak. And the government lawyers said by the next hearing, they would be pretty sure that these charges would be made available so they understand what they're being charged with. Alin?
Minelle, the Catholic Church has been highly critical of this entire investigation. Why is that?
They have seen sort of rising frustrations with the way this has progressed. They say that the government, the investigators, have not investigated all lines of inquiry, that obvious things, obvious connections, clues have not been pursued. And they have actually raised questions as to why this is. There is a Presidential Commission of Inquiry that was appointed that basically handed over something like 22 volumes of proceedings. It's only the very first that has been formally presented into the public And everyone says that if you go through those, there's a lot of evidence that has been presented that raise a lot of questions which haven't been inquired into, which is what we see. The 25 men, some of whom you again see behind me, these are just some of the people that have been accused with aiding and abetting. And the church says there are very high-profile figures. There is even sort of allegations that military intelligence knew of the mastermind and had indeed he'd been on their payroll as an informant. Of course, the government has denied it. So these are reasons that the Catholic Church is very, very critical and said that more must be done to ensure that justice is served.
OK, thank you for that update. Minelle Fernandez there for us in Colombo.